Yes, my friends, my beautiful, glorious, wonderful, always here friends, thank you so much for being here because it is time to embark on another journey. It is time to do another full album listen, a full album reaction. I hope that you guys are excited for it. Hope you're here for it. You've already seen the title, you've already seen the thumbnail. So we're here to go ahead and listen to The Jam with Setting Suns. This is their fourth studio album, which was released in 1979. We've listened to all Mod Cons, and it's been a while since we've listened to The Jam. And a lot of people said, hey, JP, snap back to him. So here we are today, snapping back to him with not just a song or two, no, the whole thing. The whole stinking thing. Not stinking, I'm sure it's good. But so I'm really excited to get into this. I'm excited to return to The Jam after it's been a while. Some of you, and I do mean some because I can't name all, but some of you that had suggested me coming back to this album: Rick Pog, Colin Fletcher, Norman David Tiedemann, Ben Weeks, Gerard McAvanna, I'm reading these very quickly, by the way, if I mispronounce the name, Luciana Texera, 15 Chip Shops, Kev, AK, Manhattan Man, Ethan, H, Timothy Landers, Jeremy Blackmore. The list just goes. John Mavrodis, listen, and it keeps on going from there. Quite a while, as a matter of fact. S. Rogers. So, yeah, all of you, thank you so much for joining me here. Yeah, I don't want to take too much of your time. Settle in, grab a coffee, grab a glass. You know, for myself personally, I love watching long form content on YouTube. I like watching, like, I don't know, Let's Plays and random, not documentaries, but I guess documentaries, like just random stuff on YouTube. So I hope that I can kind of provide the same thing here for you guys when it's a longer video like this one, because it's more than likely at least going to be an hour that you hear. So please settle on in for the night. Let me know where you're watching from and how you're watching, laying back, reclined, or standing up on the train. Yeah, hey, let's go ahead and begin with the first track. Press that like button, get out the way. Press that subscribe button if you want to support what I do. You enjoy these full album reactions and the extra content. Subscribe on Patreon, $2 a month. Helps me a lot. Let's go ahead and do the first track here. Girl on the Phone. Here we go. Hung up on her. Oh, there's a girl on the phone. She knows everything about you. All right. We are starting off hot, heavy, and in the mood. Oh man. The rhythm. Bum 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 bum. It is such a fun, bouncy, energetic rhythm to start off with. Listen, obviously we'll talk about everybody here. But there's one member I've been missing. Foxton, the bass. You know I'm going to say it, and you know that I'm going to say it later on as well. But Foxton on the bass is just a joy to listen to. Obviously, I'm listening to Weller on the guitar and everything, but like I'm listening to Foxton on the bass. He's just hitting it up. The song has so much momentum, so many changes. That break that comes up at the end on the final third run of everything. That was just such a really nice break from everything, which the song has quite a bit of rhythmic changes, but that one was really refreshing. Weller makes the music continually refreshing with his guitar and the different sounds that he gets from it. You get some almost, I mean, what did I say this album came out? 70 what? Did I say 79? 79? Some of his guitar playing to me sounds like early alternative rock, early grunge. Like, I'm talking light flavors, okay? I'm talking not Baskin Robbins, but I don't know, some other one. But I just really like the flavor of guitar playing he brings in. He brings in a certain ambience, but he also brings in a certain power. And through the chugging you hear him playing in that, you hear the restraint, and then of course the moments where he lets explode. But that final part was really kind of interesting. I like the little bit of space we got in there. The lyrics on this one. Girl on the phone keeps her ringing back. Her voice is smooth, but the tone is bland. She's telling me this, she's telling me that. She talks about me, and I must agree with what she says about me, about how nice I can be. But it makes no difference to my mind. Girl on the phone, she keeps on ringing back. She knows all my details. She's got the facts. She tells me my height. She knows my weight. She knows my age, and she says she knows fate. Sounds kind of This might be like a crazy groupie, I think, or stalker. And I must say it's logical. What foresight she must have. I've got to meet her whenever I get time. I was not reading the lyrics except for one line. She knows everything about me, every word I've said, every book I've read. She told me that we met a long time ago. I can't think when, but she should know. She's keeping track of you. Listen, when they start giving you all this information, hey, I saw you yesterday at 3 a.m. I didn't know that you sleep on your left side. Why? She's going to take your kidney. Knows where I get my shirts, where I get my pants, where I get my trousers, where I get my socks, my leg measurements, and the size of my chicken cutlet. And I must say, it's unnerving to think she knows me so well. Well, at first he was kind of excited when she was just kind of mentioning, like, passing things like, hey, I know that you're a fan of this or this. But then when she starts learning the other things, he's like, oh. Every record I've listened to, every window I've looked through, she told me we met a long time ago. I can't think when, but she should know. And then, of course, at the very end of the track, you, hello? Hello? It's time to move out. Time to go. Time to get out of there. It says here, there's some extra information. It says in the 70s and 80s, a woman who said her name was Miranda Grosvenor called a long list of famous men, engaging with them in long conversations but never meeting them, including Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, and Peter Gabriel. Billy Joel was one who would engage, even leaving songs on her answering machine. She gave good phone, he told Vanity Fair. I always thought this song was about her, even though I've never seen anything tying her to Paul Weller. Well then, let's just mosey on over into the next track here. Let's go ahead and listen to Thick as Thieves. Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
We stick together for all time. The friendship that bound us together. We're not as thick as we used to be. No, it wasn't enough.
I feel like this song is the band just talking about themselves and how they've gone through it all. They've gone, well, maybe not all, but at some point, I mean, this is, several albums beyond their debut, but they're a band. They're together. They're thick as thieves. They've gone here. They've stole this, but they're all together in the end and for forever. The track itself, I haven't talked about Rick, but let's talk about Rick Buckler on the drums. I think that his drumming in this track is good, obviously. I'm not going to say anything bad. I was going to say, I think it may be underrated in the momentum of the track and the energy of the track and how it moves. There's little moments where it stops, like the track as a whole, the momentum of it stops and starts, but it's not like in a major, you need to pay attention to this moment. It's just very quick, very snappy. It's barely a breath. And I think that the energy that he brings in those particular moments helps to fling and, in a sense, kind of bring a certain inertia and constant rotation of movement into the music that's very refreshing to listen to. Weller himself, one thing I like is that with Foxton on the bass, he brings a depth, of course, but a movement to that depth. It's like a dancer in the dark. But then Weller, especially in this track, I'm hearing his bright chords and flashes of guitar. And it's almost like when Foxton, just bear with my imagery. He throws a stone into the water, and then Weller is the vibrant flashes of ripples that erupt out of that. And it provides us a nice contrast of dark bass and bright guitar chords that I think just sounds nice. I think you know what I'm talking about. Read between the lines. I'm trying to put to words what I'm feeling and what I kind of see listening to the music. But and then at some points, Weller himself in his singing, like at the end of the chorus, he'll kind of mimic like the guitar line at that particular moment, which I think is funny, was like those little moments there. I think that's a little fun. Anyways, what's not so fun is these times, because times were so tough, but not as tough as they are now. We were so close and nothing came between us or the world. No personal situations. Thick as thieves, we'd stick together for all time, and we meant it. But it turns out just for a while, we stole the friendship that bound us together. We stole from the schools and their libraries. We stole from the drugs that sent us to sleep. We stole from the drink that made us sick. We stole anything that we couldn't keep. I like that line. We stole anything that we couldn't keep. Just for the moment. A temporary thief. And it wasn't enough. We didn't have to spoil anything. And always be thick as thieves. Like a perfect stranger, you came into my life. Then, like the perfect Lone Ranger, you rode away. Once again, really great line. Also, kind of makes me think that maybe this isn't about the band. Maybe this isn't self-autobiographical. On the other hand, I guess it could still be. We stole the love from young girls in ivory towers. We stole autumn leaves and summer showers. We stole the silent wind that says you are free. We stole everything that we could see. But it wasn't enough, and now we've gone and spoiled everything. Now we're no longer thick as thieves. So maybe it's not about the band themselves. Maybe, I would assume that this is about a relationship gone sour, a relationship gone south, but I don't have necessarily any extra info on this track and perhaps the meaning behind it or such. So we'll leave it at that. I do see here, before we move on into the next track, it says that this album was originally conceived as a concept album detailing the lives of 3 boyhood friends who later reunite as adults after an unspecified war, only to discover they have both grown up and apart. And I'm seeing that, and that actually really nicely relates to the lyrics and even the title of the track. So maybe in a sense, this track is a leftover of that concept, or at least in some way references it. It says here the concept was never fully developed, and it remains unclear which tracks were originally intended as part of the story, although it is commonly agreed that, Thick as Thieves, Little Boy Soldiers, Wasteland, and Burning Sky are likely constituents. Well, okay, so I guess I'm not the first to think that. Okay, well, of course I'm not. Let's move on to the next track, which is going to be Private Hell. Let's go. There's Rick.
The weekly food is put in bags, and your clothes are
I know it's very early in the album listen, but that's my favorite track so far. Just the combination of all of them put together sounds so nice here, but let's get a little bit more specific. I have to, I'm sorry, but briefly talk about the bass. Foxton is just so ever present in here. I love the constant bum, 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 bum. But then when he throws in the runs, like when he throws those in, because of how well produced this is and where he is engineered in the front, it just comes across so clear, so forthcoming, and so ever present in the music. It's just so strong-armed into the music that I like that a lot. That's for me. Listening to Weller's guitar as well. So there's moments where his guitar, I don't know, this is just what I'm kind of feeling maybe. There's moments where his guitar kind of dips into this almost kind of haunting melody in some ways. I especially heard it more towards the end in those areas where there's a little bit more space for that to be given and for it to thrive. But I liked his guitar playing and his singing as well, especially in the echoey ending with his singing as it kind of faded away. There was like a little bit of a dark twist to that. Now, I will say that this, however, is Rick's song. The drumming in here, especially when he breaks out into those 16ths so fast, and then he does it again later on. But like the aggression that he brings at that moment when it just changes into that is so palpable. It feels so good. And whereas before I was talking about momentum and inertia, that's a whole physics lesson. With all the movement that pushes you into. This is very easily my favorite so far. Like I said, we're only on the 3rd track, so it could easily be this crown could be taken. But for now, King of the Hill, Private Hell. Closer than close, you see yourself, a mirror image of what you want it to be. As each day goes by a little more, you can't remember what it was you wanted anyway. The fingers feel the lines, they prod the space, your aging face, the face that once was so beautiful. It's still there, but unrecognizable. Private Hell. Okay. Now that I'm really looking at the lyrics, this works with kind of what I was saying. There's a little bit of a haunting kind of reflective flavor to it, and this works so well. Private Hell, at least in this verse, talking about age, time, catches up to everyone, or everyone, not every bun. We're not at a Cinnabon. And, in the mirror, he says closer than you can imagine. Obviously, physically looking in the mirror, very close. Like, is this really me? But also the close, the personal look, the personal reflection beyond the physical. The man you once loved is bald and fat and seldom in, working late as usual. Your interest has waned, you feel the strain, the bed springs snap on the occasion he lies upon you. Okay, close your eyes and think of nothing but Private Hell. Before that line with the bed springs, I was thinking that we're still talking about the same person, this singular person reflecting upon themselves in age. But now, we kind of shift a little bit of perspective. Think of Emma. Wonder what she's doing. Her husband, Terry, and your grandchildren. Think of Edward, still at college. You send him letters which he doesn't acknowledge because he don't care, they don't care, because they're all going through their own private hell. And the lyrics are really, really good on this track as well. Yeah, this is the whole package on this one. The shop windows reflect, play a nameless host, a closet ghost, a picture of your fantasy, a victim of your misery. Alone at 6 o'clock, you drop a cup, you see it smash, inside you crack. You can't go on, but you sweep it up, safe at last inside your private hell. A simple accident as dropping a cup, of which I broke a glass 2 weeks ago, pulling it out of the cupboard. Just smashed it everywhere, glass everywhere. And I like the line, you see it smash, but inside, you're the one that cracks. You can't go on, but you sweep it up, safe inside your private hell. So even though this person's seen themselves in this private hell, it is their hell. And there is a sort of safety and security in there. That's good. Is this a popular track amongst Jam fans? What are fans of the Jam called? Jammers? And if there's any fathers who are fans of the Jam, do they wear pajamas? Let's move on into the next track here, which is Little Boy Soldiers. Pajamas.
It's funny how you got yourself in trouble. Now you want me to help you out.
I like how this is dedicated to a certain section. Some cello? That is a song that uses its story, its message, its lyrics, and incorporates all of that, the feeling. Even if you don't pay attention completely to the lyrics, they incorporate that feeling into the music so reverently. As we have this, the charge from the music in the beginning, it's fast, it's fun, it's rocking, it's rolling. And then right at the line where he says, but I've got no choice, so here I come, war games, the music stops. The music stops, and we have a militaristic march. Like, it's all gone. Like, literally, we are thrown alongside with the viewpoint, the protagonist, and we are now in this very, very different side of things. We are now in a real combat situation, really. And then you hear the guitar come back a little bit. It's struggling to come back. It's struggling to come in. And eventually it does get in there. But from that moment forward, there is this eeriness to the music. There is this, ooh, this just got serious kind of moment. And that is just so well done from the band. I mean, I'm very impressed with that. And of course, that carries on into the end. Even as that energy does come back for a little bit, the message still remains. And the thought behind it is retained very, very well. That was really, really good. What a poignant song. Obviously, great musicianship behind it, but I really like the marriage between the message and the music. And you even had some extra instrumentation that came in, piano briefly at the end. I think a cello for just one long drag sustained note. And then even the very ending, which it ends at 3 minutes, but the song is 3 minutes 28 long, and it just sits in silence. It sits in silence for us to dwell with the message, for us to dwell and let that sit there. That's good. Can I tell you, that reminds me, I'm closing my blinds because it's dark outside and I want people looking in. That reminds me, it's been a really long time, but I saw this movie a long time ago called The Boy with the Striped Pajamas, which I'm not going to spoil if you didn't see it or haven't seen it. A very good movie from what I remember. World War II, concentration camps, and it's about, two children, one on one side and one on the other side, and their meeting and friendship and how they come together. At the very end of that movie, if you've seen it, you know the ending. You can't forget it. At the very end of that movie, It's a very long fade out. It's a very long fade out. Some things happen, some things stop happening. That's the feeling that I get listening to this song, and the way that that silence, the way that those final echoes of music kind of linger, haunt, and allow you to think and feel and dwell upon the emotions and the journey you just saw. That is fantastic. Really good stuff. It's funny how you never knew what my name was. Our only contact was a form for the election. Kind of tells you all you need to know right there. These days I find I don't listen. These days I find we're out of touch. These days I find I'm too busy. So why the attention? Now you want my assistance. What have you done for me? Obviously this is pointed towards a government, a country, his own home government or country. And he's saying, you don't even know me, but now you want me? Want me for what? Want me for war. I like the way he describes it. Like he's talking to the country, to his government. You've gone out and got yourself in trouble. Now you want me to help you out. These days I can't find that I'm bothered. He goes on from there. And then, of course, after the War Games line, he is now actually in active duty. I'm up on the hills playing Little Boy Soldiers. Reconnaissance duty up at 5:30. Shoot, shoot, kill the natives. You're one of us. We love you for that. Think of honor, queen and country. You're a blessed son of the British Empire. God's on our side, and so is Washington. And he goes on from there. Come on outside, I'll sing you a lullaby or tell a tale of how goodness prevailed. We ruled the world, we killed and robbed the lot, but we don't feel bad. It's done beneath the flag of democracy. You'll believe, and I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So not only does it get into, you could argue, I don't know if it's literally based on something or if this is kind of one of those expansive thoughts that could be applied to many things, which I'm kind of leaning towards. Could be, of course, a draft. Having someone forcing, in a sense, to go out to war and that kind of thing. Patriotism, I would argue blind patriotism, as a matter of fact, and doing things that, for lack of a better word, are a little murky. And then the last lines are so well written. These days I find that I can't be bothered to argue with them. Well, what's the point? Better to take your shots and drop down dead. Then they send you home in a pine overcoat, which is such an effective way of getting that imagery across. That's Arthur. That's authorship. Send you home in a pine overcoat with a letter to your mom, saying fine enclosed one son, one medal, and a note to say he won. Don't sound like winning to me, but that's very, very well done. That's really well done. Let's go ahead and move on into the next track, ending this side of the album, called Wasteland. Here we go.
Amongst the rubber tires, my sophisticated bric-a-brac. Like our lives, just like our...
I like this nostalgic look back in this song. When I can tell, looking kind of at your old neighborhood, the place you grew up in, watching how it's changed, in this case for the worse. And it's touched with a little bit of melancholia. The addition of the recorder in there, just what kind of recorder noise was that? Just, I can't do it. Anyways, the addition of the recorder in there, is it me or does it sound kind of like out of place, but in a good way? Like I like it. I like that it's there, but it almost sounds like it's awkwardly there. Now, that makes me think of perhaps in some ways the message of the music talking about this now wasteland and how the things that we used to have aren't there anymore. And I feel like the recorder being there is almost like he feels awkward in this place that he shouldn't feel awkward in. Like, okay, you grew up in a certain place, right? You have fond memories of it. You have a connection to it. I'm talking about a positive memory. And then you leave that place. Let's just say you go back 10, 20 years later and it's different. Perhaps all the trees around you were cut down and now there's a shopping center. If it's like my case, right? I'm thinking back to like me growing up and like now there's a shopping mall there. Now everything's changed about it. It's kind of, now you're out of place. You're out of style. I feel like, maybe I'm thinking too deep. I feel like that's what the recorder is kind of in there for. Like, it's kind of not right. I don't know. Maybe it's me. And then a little bit of organ in there for safekeeping, it sounds like as well. I like that. I like how it's kind of a thoughtful look back of a way to end this specific side of the album, especially after that silence that we had been left over with in Little Boy Soldiers. Meet me on the wastelands later this day. We'll sit and talk and hold hands maybe. For there's not much else to do in this drab and colorless place. We'll sit amongst the rubber tires, amongst the discarded brick and brack people have no use for amongst the smoldering embers of yesterday. And when or if the sun shines, lighting our once beautiful features, we'll smile but only for seconds. For to be caught smiling is to acknowledge life. That's a great little quote. For to be caught smiling is to acknowledge life. A brave but useless show of compassion, and that is forbidden in this drab and colorless world. Meet me on the wastelands, the one behind the old houses, the ones left standing pre-war, the ones overshadowed by the monolith monstrosities councils call homes. So, it could be me. Maybe I'm thinking too deep and in the wrong avenue about this. It could just be kind of actually following up from the previous track about the devastation of a place post-war, after the war. Makes me think of old World War II pictures and, like beautiful cities that were bombed. And I mean, you could apply that now, of course, and seeing the destruction and the before and after. And now the people that are there left with this drab and colorless world. And I like that. Lyrics are really good in this album. And watch the rain fall, tumble and fall, just like our lives. We'll talk about the old days when the wasteland was released, when we could play. And think without feeling guilty. Meet me later, but we'll have to hold hands, tumble and fall, like our lives, exactly like our lives. I like just in this destruction that's being described here. I like the small bit of intimacy in the lines, meet me later and we'll have to hold hands. We'll walk each other through this. You'll have someone and I'll have someone. I don't know. In such a desolate set of lyrics, I think that lines like that are really nice and really refreshing. A little bit of light in the darkness, so to speak. All right. Now, let's move on into the next track, starting side 2, which I guess you could argue is a light in the darkness, burning sky. However, before I do that, I like to do this little test just to see who's still watching, who's still here after listening to the first 5 songs. So just put in the comments if you have an idea. When I saw that the original concept of this album was about these 3 friends who grew up and, got separated, and et cetera, and even looking at the album cover a little bit, which album am I thinking of right now that also have 3 friends on the album cover, also involves 3 friends, and it's from a really, really, really great band. Some would say they're big, some would say they're friendly. Like friendly and big. Like a band that you would describe as friendly and big made an album about 3 friends. Anyways, let's move on to the next track, Burning Sky. Here we go, guys.
How are things in your little world? I hope they're the same. 'Cause we've all grown up and we've got our own lives, and the values that we had once will.
Listen how Foxton speaks with the bass.
Commerce calls, and the taxman's shouting 'cause he wants his dough.
Because why not end the first track of this side with the gong? Why not end it with a big old wow, wow, wow? That'd be cool if I had one like back here I could strike. Anyways, you start off this side with a rhythmic banger, right? Foxton's bass line, as they oft are is addicting. It possesses your feet, your hands, your knees, and you start clapping, tapping, and whatever else you're doing. Just crapping. Hopefully Foxton's bass don't. It might make you do that too. But do you guys hear that hyper bounce in the music? It swings so delightfully, as quite a few of the tracks already have, but you just have that great bum, 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 bum. Even Weller gets on doing that. I don't know if he's even saying anything, but it's just such a fun little bounce that the band has with, often serious lyrics and delightful melodies. Once again, I really like his guitar playing in here. It has a certain color, a certain vibrancy to it. There's a moment in there, very briefly, that it sounds like he's almost doing this pizzicato kind of thing with his strings, which I thought is really, really cool. Buckler, his drum pattern. That is not how it went, but you know what I meant. It sounds wonderful. It's a really great re-entering of the atmosphere of this album, Burning Sky. Get it? How are things in your little world? I hope they're going well and you are too. Do you still see the same old crowd, the ones who used to meet every Friday? I'm really sorry I can't be there, but work comes first. I'm sure you'll understand. Things are really taking off for me. Business is thriving and I'm showing a profit. This reads like a personal letter to someone, to some old acquaintance. And in any case, it wouldn't be the same because we've all grown up and we've all got our lives. And the values that we once had upon a time seem stupid now because the rent must be paid. And some bonds severed and others made. Honestly, it's written harshly, but it is true. Listen, life changes you. Life, when you grow up, this probably relates back to the Three Friends thing. I'm sure that this was one of the songs that was mentioned before. But, I mean, you're friends when you're kids. You have certain things you don't have to worry about. And then you grow up, you find out reality hits you right in the face, and things change. Because the burning sky keeps burning bright, and as long as it does, and it always will, there's no time for dreams when commerce calls. And the tax man's shouting, "Tax man!" because he wants his dough, and the wheels of finance won't begin to slow. He wants his dough, and he ain't slowing down. And it's only us realists who are gonna come through, because there's only one power higher than that of truth, and that's the burning sky. That's the burning sky. And as long as the sky is up there burning, I got money to be earning. We'll all be happy and we'll all be wise, and together we'll live beneath the burning sky. There you go. Hey, he said it. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Smithers Jones. Who could that be? No idea. Let's go ahead and meet him. It's that cello again.
Shocked by the times. Good morning, Smithers Jones. I'll give you a new meaning to life. I don't think so. There's no longer a position for you.
Bad news.
Smithers Jones.
Smithers Jones comes so out of left field. What a twist in the album at this point. Like, I'm settling into rock and to roll, to jam out. And we have, I don't even know what you describe. It's almost like a soundtrack kind of song. Like, I don't know. You don't even get any instrumentation from the band themselves until the very end, with a little bit of a lead from Weller there. So I like how we've taken their comedic twist and added it into a track like this, because talking about Smithers Jones and his larger-than-life luxury, he only cares about money. Excuse me. And that kind of relates actually to the previous track about the engine. Well, what did they say? The train of commerce won't stop. Whatever. All right, you know what I meant. I think it's really cool that it relates to that, and continually talking about this greedy motivation to want more, to be something. And perhaps there's nothing really wrong with what Mr. Smithers Jones is talking about and wanting, but how quickly all that can be lost as soon as your boss calls you in for that one fateful meeting. And thinking about the luxuriousness of the lifestyle that Smithers Jones wants, think about the music that is coding this. Gone are the guitars, the drums, the bass, and everything from the band. No, we have this very upbeat orchestral piece of music with the singing strings, and like, it's all so dramatic, but it's all very pleasant, especially in the beginning until the very end when it all cuts loose there. This is just such a cool little like refreshment at this particular point, and I was not expecting anything like this from the band. Here we go again. It's Monday at last. He's heading for the Waterloo line to catch the 8 a.m. fast. It's usually dead on time. Hope it isn't late. Got to be there by 9. Pinstripe suit, clean shirt and tie. Stops off at the corner shop to buy the Times. Good morning, Mr. Smithers Jones. How's the wife and home? Did you get the car you've been looking for? So obviously everyone knows him. He has the same routine, and he's got a little bit of money. And then the chorus, let me get inside you. Let me take control of you. We could have some good times. All this worry will get you down. I'll give you a new meaning to life. I don't think so. So I feel like we're almost getting a change of perspective there. Of course, we're watching Smithers Jones go through his routine in this day, but perhaps we're also having Weller or the band, the writer of this particular track, saying, man, if I had your life, if I was you, I would change this. I would do this. It's like if you imagine, like, you know, my position, man, if I was a millionaire, I would do this, do this, do this. I think we're kind of doing a similar thing where Weller or whoever the writer of the track is saying, man, if I was Mr. Smithers, this is what I would do. Sitting on the train, you're nearly there. You're part of the production line. You're the same as him. You're like tin sardines. Get out of the pack before they peel you back. And then, speaking of getting peeled back, this is what happens to Mr. Smithers. Come in, Smithers, old boy. Take a seat. Take the weight off your feet. I've got some news to tell you. There's no longer a position for you. Sorry, Smithers Jones. So he got peeled back. Weller is saying, get out before you get peeled. And not necessarily literally, like, you know, sometimes you can't tell if you're going to get let go or fired or anything like that. But perhaps the lesson here is to not let greed make you lose who you are. Maybe. I don't know. I might be looking too deep. Interestingly enough, there's a Wikipedia article for this track. It says this was the 8th single. Why is it talking about When You're Young? When You're Young was the 8th single released by The Jam. Oh, the B-side. Okay. The B-side of the single, Smithers Jones, is a guitar-based recording of the song, as opposed to the all-strings arrangement composed at the suggestion of the band's drummer. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I was like, why did it take me to a Wikipedia article for this song, When You're Young? Okay. So that's kind of interesting, because I wouldn't think of this song as being representative of the band, like for a release as a single. It does say that not only was this the B-side to that single, but that it was recorded with guitar instead of the orchestra. Okay. And that would be a little bit more representative. It's kind of cool. I like that. It says that it was reworked with an all-strings arrangement at the suggestion of Buckler for inclusion, of course, on this album. It has been considered to be Foxton's finest songwriting contribution to The Jam. Huh. I like it. Smithers Jones. Sounds fancy. Let's go ahead and move on. It also says that this song takes inspiration when Foxton's father was made redundant. Made redundant? What does that mean? What is that? I've never heard that phrase in my life. Made redundant? Like fired? Is that just what that means? If you are made redundant, I'm Googling, your employer tells you to leave because your job is no longer necessary, or because your employer cannot afford to keep paying you. I've just never heard that phrase used for letting someone go, firing you, whatever other term there may be. Oh, hey, you learn something every day, don't you? Maybe not every day, but you did today. I did. All right, next song, Saturday's Kids. Here we go.
Saturday's boys live life with insults. Drink lots of beer and wait for hot time. Saturday's kids playing one-arm bandits. The time was forgotten, don't get on a board. It's that system, hate that system.
I like when the piano comes in.
Saturday's kids live in council houses.
Careless and carefree. So, a few things that I think is kind of cool. So, I love the jolliness of the song, the la 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 la, because it works so well with, once again, the story. So obviously I already looked up the fact that this originally was going to be a concept album. I think that it's so cool that several of these tracks have had either in some way a callback, obviously a connective theme between the tracks. Like, and maybe I'm thinking too far into it. I don't know. But at the very end of the track, he says Saturday's kids live in council houses, which he just mentioned about the council houses being built up in Wasteland. I don't know if that's on purpose. I would think so, because the writing on this album has been stellar so far. But I like that. I like all these callbacks and connections. And even when an album's not necessarily conceptual, I like when there's a little bit of a theme of some sort, bringing it all together. So, in this track, I think that Saturday's Kids are perhaps, I don't know, I think that it's talking about like privileged kids or or perhaps affluent kids, kids that had some money, their parents had money growing up, and these are the things that were afforded to them. I can't quite say for sure. There's a lot of terms in here that are outside of my American mind, just to tell you. But I think that's what it's getting to. But the whole song has this jolly bounce to it that has that, I guess you could say, like that young, youthful kind of kick to it. Saturday's boys live life with insults, drink lots of beer, and wait for halftime results. Afternoon tea and the light a bite, chat up the girls, they dig it. Saturday's girls work in Tesco's and Woolworths, wear cheap perfume because it's all they can afford. Go to the discos, they drink Baby Sham, talk to Jan in bingo accents. I don't know what Baby Sham is, but we're going to look that up. Now, when he says that they couldn't afford anything but cheap perfume, personally, I think that that's just because, their parents may have money, but they ain't giving the kids money to go out and buy whatever. I don't know. I could be wrong completely on this. So Baby Sham is a light sparkling perry invented by this guy showering in Somerset, England. So that's what it is. It's a sparkling perry. It's a drink of sorts. Hey, once again, the more you learn. Saturday's kids play one-armed bandits. They never win, but that's not the point, is it? No, it's not. You're just playing that pinball. Not a pinball. Is it a pinball machine? No, one-armed bandit is... What's that? No, the kids aren't playing slots. I think it is pinball. Okay, also I think I'm kind of wrong. I think that this is just talking about kids, boys and girls, like on a Saturday and what they do on a Saturday. I'm throwing out my previous thoughts, and that's what I'm going with on this one. Their moms and dads smoke Capstan non-filters. Wallpaper lives because they all die of cancer. What goes on? What goes wrong? Save up their money for a holiday to Selsey Bill or Bracklesham Bay. Hey, let's give that another Google. Let's get Bracklesham Bay. The first picture that comes up looks like a pretty barren beach, to be honest. Okay, the next picture is a little bit better. Yeah, it's a bay. There you go. So once again, there's a lot of local references that I'm just not going to catch. Not given a thought, it's the system. Hate the system. What's the system? Saturday's kids live in council houses, wear V-neck shirts and baggy trousers, drive Cortinas, fur-trimmed dashboards, stains on the seats in the back, of course. I don't know what that last line means. I don't understand that. I don't get that. I do like the little bit of musical change and lyrical change when they say not given a thought, it's the system. Hate the system. What's the system? Almost like these Saturday kids are innocent. They're enjoying their youth before the system, reality, the world, comes down hot and heavy upon them. Yeah, that's what I think. Let's move on to the next track here. Still don't know what that last line means. Let's go on and move on to the next track here, which is the Eton Rifles. Here we go. That's heavy. I was right. Boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, we found our number 2. That's the second best song on the album. Eating rifles. Oh, the chorus, I'll say it. I mean, we got one more song. Best chorus on the album. That is catchy, anthemic. Eating rifle, eating rifle. I could do that all day over and over, but I won't to annoy you when I'm doing this video. That is good. That is good. And I think that in that chorus there, not only is obviously the chorus great and the music great at that point, but Buckler's drumming, I think, is really, really neat in that, because obviously he has the hits. Then when he goes into the Eaton Rifles part, Eaton Rifles, he hits a double, but then he kind of ghost rolls it right after. Eaton Rifles. It's a small thing, but I just thought that was really neat how he fit that into that little moment right there. The ending, I love that the ending was instrumental and that outro went on for a little bit. I don't know exactly how long it was. I want to say maybe 30 seconds or so. But within that part, You have the random inclusion of a little bit of organ chops in there, right? Which we had before during the song, and it continues on in that little outro there. But Weller and his guitar, he's creating this maelstrom of white noise in there that I think is so cool how he's making that in there. I don't know how he's doing it. He's doing his Wellerisms, but it's in there and it sounds great. Obviously, I'm gonna mention him. Foxton, his bass. God, I'm just gonna say it one more time really quick. Production wise, I really love how upfront the bass is. It's not the spine of the music here. To me, it's kind of the face. If I'm being honest, like it is the legs upon which the music is walking, and walking that bass down the street is what Foxton does do, and do it so well. And then the way the band shifts back into that right at the end there, snappy, zappy. That's good. Sup up your beer and collect your cigarettes. There's a row going on down near Slow. Get out your mat and pray to the west. I'll get mine and pray for myself. Thought you were smart when you took them on, but you didn't take a peep in their artillery room. All that rugby put hairs on your chest. What chance have you got against a tie and a crest? Sounds like a private school, a gang fighting, something. Hello, hooray, what a nice day for the Eton Rifles. Hello, hooray, I hope the rain stops. Play for the Eton Rifles. I'm going to have to look this one up. Thought you were clever when you lit the fuse. Tore down the House of Common is your brand new shoes. Composed a revolutionary symphony, then went to bed with a charming young thing. I feel like the Eton Rifles are like, not a sports team, but like something. I don't know why I'm leaning gang, but like they're something. Let's see. What a catalyst you turned out to be. Loaded the guns, then you run off home for your tea. Left me standing like a guilty schoolboy. What a catalyst you turned out to be. Loaded the guns, then you run. Like, I don't know it yet. Like you're all bark but no bite kind of thing. We came out of it naturally the worst, beaten and bloody, and I was sick down my shirt. We were no match for the untamed wit, for their untamed wit, though some of the lads said they'd be back next week. Is the price to pay to the Eton Rifles. So you're getting your butts kicked by the Eton Rifles, whoever they may be. Let's go ahead and look into that and find out, see who we're talking about or what we're talking about. It says, Eton College is a famous English public school in Berkshire and is regarded as the epitome of Britain's privileged elite. Their cadet corps is the Eton College Combined Cadet Force, founded in 1860 as the Eton College Rifle Corps. So there you go. The lyrics recount the difficulties faced by the unemployed and lower paid working class in protesting against a system stacked against them. That's why they said, like, we're not going to stand a chance, basically, against the Eton Rifles. We gave it our all. We're coming back bloody and beaten. That's what I'm kind of getting from this, at least. And it does say that this track became the band's first top 10 hit single on the UK singles chart, peaking at number 3. That's actually really, really good. It says this is the only official Jam single for which a video was not recorded. That's really awesome. This is a really, really good track. It says, also, just to make it a little more information here, the song refers to a street fight Weller read about between Slough residents, like Slough, a place, and students of Eton College, one of the most prestigious schools in the world. Slough is a nearby town with traditionally working class population. Students had been haranguing marchers in the town and found themselves to be set upon by angry workers. Eton represents a large amount of class inequality in England. It also, along with its counterpart school Harrow, is well known for educating members of parliament. There you go. So that second best song on the album. I'm not going to say first, but it definitely earns a very easy number 2. Let's move on. Finally and endedly, that's not even a word. Let's move on to the final track of the album, which is going to be Heat Wave. Let's go ahead and get it done. I like this. This is good. This album ended to me in such a surprising way. This sounds like nothing that came before, and yet at the same time is still like recognizably the Jam. I can't even think of like what genre this sounds like, but it just sounds like older swing swinging rock and roll. I don't know, but the sheer dun 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 dun, like it's just abandoned with joy. Is just so happy and so positive. I don't know what this is, but I love the tonal shift that we have in the final act of this particular album. The inclusion of some suave saxophone, just you can practically see the band swinging their fingers and snapping with this one. That is fun. Buckler's having a great time on the drums. Weller's singing his heart out. I feel like he's singing so passionately here that I feel like this song, for its seemingly random tone and inclusion at this point in the album, I feel like this is something like they really want to make, like, okay, we've done our stuff, we got our message out, we got our great lyrics and great writing. Can we have some fun? This is like the after the movie, this is when you get the bloopers during the credits. And I don't mean in any negative way towards the song, because I enjoyed it a lot. Third favorite, actually, by the way. But it just seems so fun. Like, let's end this album with just this fun roller coaster, this amusement park of joy, heat wave. Whenever I'm with you, something inside starts burning and my heart is filled with fire. Stop this, it's got a hold on me. I said this ain't the way it's supposed to be. I got a heat wave in my heart. Can't keep crying, tearing me apart. Whenever she calls my name, it sounds so soft, sweet, and plain. Right there, right then, I feel this burning pain. High blood pressure's got a hold on me. I said this ain't the way love's supposed to be. Got a heat wave burning in my heart. Pretty straightforward on that one. Interestingly enough, there is a Wikipedia article for this track. Let's see. So apparently this is a cover. It seems like this is a 1963 song written by Holland Dozier Holland songwriting team. First made popular by the Motown group Martha and the Vandellas. It was also covered by Linda Ronstadt and apparently Phil Collins as well. Huh. A lot of people have been on this thing then. Interesting. Well, I did like this version. Like I said, it's just so fun and swinging. Just joyful. This would be my third favorite track on the album. Speaking of the album, we're done. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Remember in the beginning when I said, like, grab a tea, grab some coffee, grab a snack, sit down, lay back, or hopefully your train ride's over. Hope your cup is empty. May your cup not runneth over, but may your cup be empty and your home, your heart filled with joy and warm caffeine, whatever you drink, whatever you ate, whatever you had. Let me know what you thought about the album, what you thought about Setting Suns. Like I said, just to repeat, Private Hell is easily my favorite song. I will say that Eaton Rifles is close to number one, but it's second. And then Heatwave is actually really, really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. That's my number 3. So I enjoyed listening to the album, and I hope that you guys did as well. Before you leave, if you didn't do it before, just press the like button. Just like get it out the way. Just send it. Just press it before you get out of here. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can support what I do on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. It goes a long way in me doing full album listens and more videos, etc., etc. You guys get how that goes. But thank you for everything. Thank you for spending some of your time out of your day with me. And I hope that you come back tomorrow and spend some more time with me. Have a great one, guys. Bye.